Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
Hey, 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 hey.
Hey, hey.
Oh, good tune.
Yeah. How's it been going?
Are you going crazy yet? Getting ready for tomorrow? I'm excited
I haven't started.
to see your face.
I haven't started to get ready yet. So that's going to be all tonight. Yeah, I still have all my packing to do. Trying to decide what I'm bringing and what I'm not bringing.
Yeah, because last year it was freezing in the convention center.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. So bring a hoodie or something?
It's weird because my coffee tastes like cone around here. A couple more likes for Team Morgan.
A couple?
I just clicked a little like on the Team Morgan.
Hey.
Up to 5.
I'm getting popular.
The ladies like him.
Yeah. All right, so yeah.
Feel like I've been away for a while.
We have been. But it was a busy time for you, so we needed. I think you definitely need a little break from this.
That's pretty close. That's pretty close to becoming a murderer.
Yeah.
And I would have been on the show. I would have been like, by the way, the captain is no longer with us. He murdered people.
Due to your level of stress?
Oh, I've been working on something. And then the fire. Oh, no, that's not good. Hold on. I'm working on something now.
All right.
And then the captain from True Crime Garage killed a man. They had to proceed on the show without him.
There would be no show without him.
I was doing it better earlier. I was doing a better Keith Morris. Doing a better one earlier.
He's going to
So your father. Oh, I know. He was there last year. I mean, what? You want to talk about getting a boner in public? I mean, wow. I was turned on. I was like, wow, old Keith.
Did you see Bill Hader was on like
yeah.
Sunday morning or whatever, right? And he actually got to meet him, Keith Morrison, and
yeah, that's what got me on my Keith Morrison thing is because Bill Hader is just such a fan. He was like, you could tell he was starstruck. He was like, oh my God, this is the best ever. And last year, there was this cool bar inside the convention, and we were hanging out, me and Bob Ruff and a couple other people, a bunch of cool people. And then all of a sudden Keith came walking in, and it was as if every woman in that place was like, Bob Ruff, who?
It was
Captain,
like Mick Jagger
who?
just walked into the bar, right?
Yeah, it was Boner City. It's like, I think there's some pictures of me playing with a lightsaber. That's how big my boner was for Keith. I was like, oh, Keith.
Okay, so last year, who do you think would have gotten the bigger oohs and ahs? Keith walking in or Paul Holes?
Keith. I mean, because I saw Keith walk into a bar and just like the place explode. So I don't know if he planned it that way. Maybe he paid some of the people because he had like an entourage of women around him.
Do you blame him or them?
You haven't even started packing yet.
No, I haven't started yet. I mean, I don't think it's gonna. It's only a few days, so it's not like I have to pack a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, and Thursday's weird because we're gonna get there a little later.
Yeah,
So it's not like we're gonna do a bunch. But what's cool is we're actually staying at the convention Thursday. So, I'm just see, everybody says, "Oh, you're in New Orleans or you're in Nashville or whatever," but there's not a lot of time to go explore the city.
mm-hmm.
So it becomes more finding the hotel bar and going and hanging out there. So
Yeah,
I think there's an NBA game on tonight. I'm not for sure, but I know there is one on Friday, which I'm pissed. But if you're out in New Orleans or in the area and you want to come hang out with me and Morgan and Nick and some other true crime people, you can go to the Hilton in New Orleans. We're going to be at the bar Friday night. It's
probably
free to
more
get
than
in.
this Friday night.
Well, we're probably going to be there Saturday night as well, and probably Thursday night. But if you're in the area, stop by and say hello. I'll post on like our Instagram, and so will Morgan. When we'll just take a picture of where we're at. Say,
You come find us. Yeah. Or
there.
Or maybe Nick is your thing, so he might be there. He'll be there Friday.
He'll definitely be there Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Nick realized from last year that he can't explore the city so well, but I think there are like 3 or 4 things he's trying to do, because I think Peyton Manning's father has a bar down there, so he wants to go to that. Archie Manning has a bar down there. So, and there was like a bunch of people, like a bunch of bars that hit us up saying come out and have a free drink, but it's like, I think on Friday there's only one meetup, but it's a few hours, and then Saturday there's 2 podcast row, and it's like you hang out with so many people, and it's all this small talk and shop talk, and that by the end of the night you're just going, I'm exhausted. And what I did last year and what I'm going to do this year is when I'm tired, I'm not having fun, I'm going to bed. And podcast rows are not super early this year. Like last year, I think there was one at like 9:00 or something stupid. I don't think there's any one that is that early this year.
I don't believe so.
Oh, I'm going to sleep in. I know that much. Maybe even get room service. Bring me my breakfast.
Yeah, Friday.
Be pampered like a little baby.
Friday you have podcast row like at 12:30.
You should get couple massages.
Oh yeah.
Captain&Morgan couple massages, and we'll film it. Because we know everybody wants to see that.
Yeah, of course. I want to see that.
So good to see Pookie Bear, Paige and Mr. Herman in the house, Mr. Fire, Laura M. Lady. Hey, lady. Butt radio. B-U-T-T radio. Butts. All butts all time. What was that? Is somebody trying to get out of their box?
I'm just
back in there.
Oh yeah,
I think Zoe changed her name to Zoe and not the Zoe.
The Zoe.
It could be the Zoe.
The Zoe. So speaking of CrimeCon, enjoyed your off the record on Monday, going through the schedule of CrimeCon.
Well, technically, we already met our quota of shows for the year, so that's what you get, right? No, I think Nick wanted to talk about it, and I think he knew we didn't have much time before me and him left, so I think he thought, let's just talk about it on the show. But it is, for the people that aren't going, they can at least get kind of a mindset of what it is, and then if it's closer to where they live, then maybe next year they'll want to go.
Yeah.
I think Saturday we're going to try to record like a little 30-minute, 40-minute. We're at CrimeCon this is what's happening so far. Here's the halfway point. How are we feeling? Because you know Nick, you've partied with Nick. He parties harder than both of us combined.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to redo your off the record. I'm just going through, looking at the schedule to see if there's anything that really jumps out at me. Going, yeah,
we can talk about whatever we want to talk about.
I don't know. I just want to meet Paul Holes and Keith Morrison.
Really?
Yeah.
Keith Morrison, definitely. Chris Darden, I'd like to shake his hand.
But here's the thing. Paul Holes is awesome, but then I still have those like mixed emotions about the whole Golden State Killer East Area rapist. Where I'm so glad they caught him, but at the same time, it took away like so much from me.
It took away so much from my life. I spent a lot of time looking into that. Well, you want to just have them say that you're not?
And you know what?
Hold on, we got at least 10 people listening. Can't they just go up and click on the Team Morgan real quick? Can't they just go up there? Do they know where it's at?
I don't know.
It's posted by Fantastico. Or should I be in a different group?
I don't know.
Is there like questions for us that we should be looking at?
Paige Mr. Herman wants you to post your own personal schedule so she knows where it finds you. At all times.
At all times. Well, that's what I'll do. I'll just go to Instagram and and I'll just like post every 15 minutes where I'm at. And if you find me, I'll give you a hug and maybe like some money. How about that? Do that.
How many stickers?
I should bring some stickers with me, but everybody always goes, "Why don't you bring merch?" So you take how many bags can you fly with? And then by the time you get the shirts there, and then people buy them, and then CrimeCon takes, I think, 35%. So then you just lose money. I mean, you're going to lose money just by taking them there and paying for the extra bags.
Yeah, don't do that.
I mean, like, and then that's the other problem is not everybody's the same size, so it's just it's a mess. But that's why we did a 15% off coupon last week for like a week and a half, so everybody got that. Maybe I'll do another coupon, and when we do our next Captain and Morgan show, we'll give the coupon out just to the listeners of the show.
You still have any of those you know the sticker you gave me, the chair, beer, and the microphone, the grab a chair, grab it. Still have any of those?
Yeah, we haven't sold any of the stickers yet. We have them in packages now. We just have to then put them on the website. But man, it's just one thing after another. It's driving me nuts, and I'm still working on my Morgan shirt. I am now, which I still think we should make your shirt just like the not Golden State Zodiac.
Yeah.
Where it says I'm not Morgan. Because remember, the Zodiac was going to kill that guy, Paul. What was his name? Paul Turner. And it was like, I'm not Paul Turner or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shirt we should make for you.
Those stickers.
PB&J. I want a PB&J.
What does Morgan drink? What do I drink?
About some Zima.
Zima? Oh, you know what? I have to go back because there was a question from Accept Jenny. Her question is, how do you feel about Zima?
I haven't had it in a long time. I couldn't even do it.
That's a legitimate question from May 23rd.
Wow, that feels like forever ago, right?
It was. That was like the last time we did a show, I think.
How do we feel about Zima? Not good. Yeah, but you've been putting the shows on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So now everybody can catch up on that nonsense. Do we know what the YouTube handle is? so people can check that out. You guys should be posting the link to the shows every week.
I'm getting
That's what
close to having enough subscribers to having our own personal YouTube, like, I don't know, address instead of that whole UC-UKK, whatever all that is.
Right,
so instead of having it be just like YouTube channel / Captain&Morgan, whatever. How do I feel about Zima? Zima has brought
a special place in your heart. Holds a special place in your heart.
It has,
or in your pants.
It has brought good memories.
It's brought many boners. What are they talking about?
Oh my god, Danny Boyle.
Post. Don't say real names on here.
Oh yeah, like Danny Boyle is going to be listening to this. Hey Danny, if you're listening to this, how's it going?
It's our number one fan, Danny Boyle. I'm not Danny Boyle will be our next T-shirt.
Speaking of Danny Boyle,
you do know that it's 72 degrees outside and 69 in my pants. Got him.
Did I ever tell you about the Danny Boyle his truck tires story?
Oh,
when he was working at Zamorelli's.
Tell me about it.
So it was me and Schwartz and Zach O'Day, right?
Good guys.
Yeah, great guys. And so this, I think I was it was after I graduated, I think. So it might have been your senior year. And it must have been like a Friday or Saturday, whatever. We were bored, and someone mentioned, "Oh, Danny's working at Zamorelli's." Zamorelli's is this little pizza place where we live, and I don't know, it's still open somehow. Greasiest pizza you can imagine.
Gives you heartburn for a week.
Oh God, yeah. And so we were like, "Hey, let's go over and fuck with his truck." And so we went over and we decided to put little pebbles into the tire. What do you call that thing? The little not the nozzle, the stub, whatever.
Yeah.
To
oh my God, yeah.
To let the air out. We're like, okay, we'll put some pebbles in there to let the air out slowly.
Yeah.
So eventually he's gonna have flat tires. So we did it to all four. And so, we did it. And
that's not dangerous or anything.
No, not at all. So we left and you're like, okay, whatever. Maybe we are talking about the Danny Boyle. And so it must have been, I don't know if it was that night or that weekend, whatever, we hear oh, did you hear about Danny's truck? We're like, no, what happened? They said, well, yeah, he was, leaving work and he was backing up and he didn't know, but all his tires were flat and the tires basically came off the rims. So so his car got fucked, or his truck got fucked because we were assholes and thought it'd be funny to put pebbles in in the stem, the tires.
Did you tell him it was you guys?
No.
Oh,
but no.
Schwartz didn't tell him. You'd think Schwartz would.
Maybe Schwartz has, but honestly, I haven't. That's a guy I haven't seen in 20 years, so it's not
Schwartz?
No, Boyle.
Say we've seen Schwartz a few times.
Yeah.
I went to go jam with Schwartz one time, and he was a good drummer, not a bad drummer, and he had these hi-hats that said, hi-hats and cymbals, and it said my first hi-hat cymbals on the cymbals. And I just remember thinking, those can't be good, right? Those can't be high quality hi-hats.
You tell me that. You tell me people don't go to my first hi-hat.
Yeah. But yeah, no, and I think his ride symbol said my first ride.
My first ride.
And I was thinking, yeah. And it was funny too, because all these drummers that were in marching band and just marching band, they probably had drum sets, but I just remember all of them at some point in high school talking shit to me about the drummer in my high school band. And it was I don't understand why they had an issue with the fact that this guy bought a drum set and tried to teach himself how to play.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, for a guy that was self-taught, he was a pretty good drummer.
he was.
You know, and like those guys would always talk a lot of shit, and it's like, yeah, you might know a little bit more about rudiments and things for marching band, but at the end of the day, he can sit down at the drum set and play.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
know,
most of those guys didn't really even play drum set.
yeah, or if they did, they were horrible.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like, I mean,
Coffee.
Vince, right? So Vince was good at drums, right? Whatever he did, but I mean, he had a drum set, but he wasn't great on it.
He got better. He bought a drum set after college. I wonder if he ever got good at it.
I don't know.
I have not seen Vince in
Well,
forever.
Well, here's the thing: did Vince actually take time to actually try to learn it, or was he too busy working out at that point?
No, this was like kind of after that. Like, he was still working out, but not as crazy.
Crazy. Oh, okay, yeah.
And he bought like a pretty, like, he went in. I remember he came into like our store multiple times to look at this one set, and he did his research and ordered the drums, and it was a nice set. I wonder if he ever learned. I mean, obviously he could, the thing is once you learn an instrument, whatever that instrument is, you kind of understand the workings that it takes to learn an instrument.
Yeah.
Questions? Put some questions on the board. Oh,
Man, picked up my new headphones. Oh, it sounds so good. Fantastic.
I felt so bad because I actually wanted to go to there's a guitar that I've been looking at, but it's a brand that I normally don't buy. If it was a brand that I normally buy, I would have just ordered it.
Yeah.
But since it's not, like, and all the videos that I've seen posted on it, people are like, this guitar is amazing. But it doesn't sound that good in the videos. So
What guitar was it?
Called a Charvel Mod 2. If you just Google it, they're sweet. It's like a flat finish, and there's a couple little cool little features on it. So
Now I gotta look it up.
Yeah, you gotta look at it. Seriously, not one freaking question other than Paige and Mr. Herman's like, what's your schedule, creepo? What's your schedule looking like, creepo?
What's your hotel room number?
What's awesome though is I got a bunch of white vans that are going to drive me around. Like, when people see me in my white van, they'll be like, "What? What's up with this?" Ban the van, man. We got some new douche canoe shirts coming. Doing like a blue, like a kind of like a royal blue with the red at this time, reverse of the last one. I think I had to order some more Ban the Van shirts too because they all sold out.
Oh, damn.
Right, if there's not going to be a question,
right,
just wrap this up.
We'll
Good
see
to see you.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Question for you. Did you listen this week? Did you have a chance to listen this week?
To Amy?
Yeah.
To Amy Mihaljevic?
Yeah.
Well, first up, the first one, part one. So I was actually surprised you guys did this one. I mean, it was weird because it's like, oh, they've done this one before, but you haven't.
No, it was just an interview with Renner.
And that throws me off.
Yeah. And everybody kept on saying, you guys covered this one. We're like, yeah, we never really covered this one. We talked to a guy about it.
Who covered it. And did you remember when was it? It might have been a month ago when I sent you just a random text about Amy, and I asked you about homework helpline.
Yeah.
And so you don't know, and so I ended up messaging Renner see what he thinks.
Such a weirdo. I can't wait for you, Nick, and Renner to be in the same room.
Oh God.
It'll be like the 3 dorkiest guys I've ever met in my life in one room. And you guys are all basically the same guy, but you look a little different. Like you guys could be cousins.
So I asked him about it. Do you know if she or any of the other girls who received phone calls ever used homework helplines? And he took the time to give me a very nice response. And he said, "I've never heard of that. Thanks, James Renner."
Let's see. Let's start with Lady. No, I will not marry you, Lady. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Oh. Miss D Fire. She says, "Are you doing anything fun outside of CrimeCon?" Yes, Friday we're doing a meetup. Be outside of CrimeCon. I'm looking up because I know there's some people playing live. There's always bands playing in New Orleans, so I'm looking up to see if there's anybody, from that area that is playing locally, because that might be something fun to do. But pretty much I'll be inside of CrimeCon or at the hotel bar. But the hotel bar you can get into for free. So if you're in the area, come out. Let's see. Following any of the smaller cases across the country where Parabon Labs have been a part of finding the suspect through familia DNA. Yeah, we covered the Amy Hooper case, which is a Columbus case, and we believe that they're in the process right now, because and we didn't really talk too much about it on the show, but Nick and I were taking money out of our own pockets because we were going to pay for Parabon Labs to take a look at the Amy Hooper case. Eventually, the detectives, after talking to him 5 times about it, said you don't need to do that, because it's already in the process. So I think right now Parabon Labs is very backed up. So I think all these cases that have possibilities of getting solved through it's going to take some time. I'd really like for them to look into testing different items that they have in the Amy Mihaljevic case to see if there's any chance that we can pull some kind of DNA from that, which I've also heard that they're in the process of doing. That's some rumors there. So that would be pretty interesting. Preservation Hall. Yes, I've actually hung out with Preservation Hall Society Jazz Group multiple times. So that's a pretty cool place to be. Misty Fire, if you're in the area, please come down Friday and just hang out. Yeah, Bear Brook announcement is coming tomorrow. I've been following that loosely. It's hard to keep on track with all that stuff. The Sclounce is not in the house. And a mystery are trying to do the same thing with a case local to me when local law enforcement and did it themselves. Yeah. That seems the thing is people that are trying to get involved and saying that they'll pay for it. Now some of these departments will accept for you to pay for them because they don't have the money, and I think it was going to be about $4,500 for us to pay for the test. But we were willing to take our chances because it is a cold case and deserves to be solved. 3 Men and a Mystery. I've never listened to them yet. I've been staying away from true crime podcast lately, and I've actually been listening to a lot of more audio books. I'm trying to get my goal for the year.
What audiobooks have you listened to recently? Or what do you have now?
What was that?
What are you listening to now?
I started last night, Master the Day, and it was more about like scheduling and like get crap done, because that's the big kicker. Like Morgan said, super busy trying to make my singer-songwriter EP. I helped produce another singer-songwriter EP. I played a bunch of gigs in the last couple weeks. My life has gotten out of control. I've been struggling with just my weight and getting enough exercise for the last couple of years because I've been so focused on the show. I mean, we produce, part 1 and part 2 every week, but we also have the bonus show Off the Record, and then starting to do some of this stuff with the Captain&Morgan and all the social media that I really lose focus sometimes, some days, and then it gets away from me, so I don't have time to work out. And then when you don't work out a bunch, you start eating crappy. So I'm starting to turn that around. But I thought this match of the day was more about getting your schedule together. But it actually has a lot to do with weight loss. So that it's will help me, I think, in that aspect too. Well, and that was the thing, is after I did all these gigs, and some of these were charity gigs that were like trying to raise money for youth football programs and things like that. So it wasn't like I was, just going out and trying to act like a rock star. I was trying to do good for communities. But at the end of the day, it's like it's taking a toll on my existence.
Yeah.
And so what I told Morgan last week is, look, I'm just trying to get to CrimeCon. Once I get to CrimeCon, I'm hoping to sleep. Yes, I'm going to be up partying, which will be fun, but I hope to get a little bit of rest. And then next week, we actually already have the show recorded for next week. So we won't be off. We'll be uploading a show. I'm sure me and Morgan will do a show next week. But it'll be a good chance to kind of restart and get everything back on track. No updates yet on the Tyler Davis. The last updates I gave on the Tyler Davis stuff, paging Mr. Herman, was when I talked to the lead detective. They were pursuing lie detector. Now, I have not heard any word if they've done those, or if these individuals that they want to talk to or want to question, if they have lawyered up, or are they refusing to take the test.
Is this going outside of just Brittany and the friend that they want to talk to and polygraph?
Yeah, there's kind of a lot of people really want to talk with the Uber driver. From what the detective said was they have footage of the Uber driver dropping them off. So I think they've been in contact with him as far as like talking to him on the phone, and there's nothing really special that he's telling them. And his story seems to line up with the video footage, and the friend plus Brittany's story lines up with the Uber driver as far as that time period is concerned. My thing that I stress that they really should look into is when she's talking about the activity of going back into the rooms. She claims, and what the police officers have told me, is that you'd have to go through that lobby, so she would be on film at that point, or she would be on CCTV.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if they've looked at that to see if that lines up with her story, because I think everybody wants to say, well, she's so detailed and all this thing, and she seems to know too much, or she's so calm, or whatever it is. At the end of the day, if what she is saying matches up with her story, I mean, how can you not believe her? You can't, you have to have evidence. If she's telling you stuff that doesn't make sense, then maybe we need to get a lie detector test going, to, get some, some more answers. But I think they don't think she's been super honest about a lot of stuff, but some people just tell little fibs. So that doesn't necessarily, you can be a liar and not necessarily be lying to other people. You know what I'm saying? Like you can be telling lies about stuff, but that doesn't mean necessarily that you're lying and that you're trying to cover up that you murdered somebody. Some people are
Gotcha.
just, I mean, look, I played with a guy for a long time that I don't want to get too much into details, but he was unfaithful. And he told us the story on how he kind of ended it with his side piece, right?
Mhm.
And then he gets out of the car and pumps gas and gets back in the car and starts the story over as if we never heard the story before, and it was a completely different story. We never stopped him to say, I mean, it was the strangest thing. He told a story for about 30-40 minutes, gets in the car, starts the story over, and changed all the details. I mean, it was one of the oddest things that I've ever experienced. And then you just go, well, some people just don't tell the truth. So I like these questions, though. Thanks for giving us some questions.
Let's go see Kermit Ruffins in the Barbecue Swingers. I'm not joking about that. I'm not joking about that one. Come on.
Yeah, I'll see anything that the barbecue swingers.
Yeah.
So I'm, but what was interesting this week, it was, I think at some point Nick was like, we're going to be about like a hour and a half into the content, which means we're on to part 2 of the show this week, and we never got to suspects. And I said, well, we didn't get to suspects. And he's like, yeah, but that's probably okay because I probably can go into that for another 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So I think maybe in like a month or so, or a month and a half, we're going to come back to the Amy Mihaljevic case and do a 1-part or a 2-parter just on the suspects.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like a series that's going to take some time.
So it's crazy when you think of the suspects, and I know you say you haven't been listening to many true crime podcasts, if any. But every now and then I've been listening to Murder Squad. That's the Billy Jensen and Paul Holes podcast.
Yeah.
And with you saying that reminded me of something that Paul Holes had said in regards to really about web sleuthing. They were talking about, now I'm trying to remember what case they were talking about, but they were talking about how there's a right way and a wrong way to go about it, and the wrong way being, naming names. Oh, it was Delphi murders. And they were talking about Daniel Nations, and how really when you get into the weeds on some of these cases, how easily you can find people that match your suspect to a T. And I think the same thing happens with Amy Mihaljevic, where there's so many people where you can kind of, I don't want to say pick and choose, but you can kind of, they are a very good suspect because of circumstances. And that's,
it becomes a matter of how many, my issue is when people go, well, this person has a connection, this person somewhat looks like the picture, and this person is a sex offender. Well, that's 3 things. Let's get more than 3 things. So I think Paul's right on some idea that, but I don't think you necessarily have a responsibility, especially these guys that are sex offenders, that are pedophiles. You do not have a responsibility to them or the community to say, hey, this guy might want to be looked at.
Yeah.
So I think,
and I agree with that.
Yeah, and I also think Miss D Fire we just keep getting some noise from. There we go.
I got it.
So but I think maybe Paul Holes should shut the fuck up and stop telling people what to do. I mean, it's like these people are adults, and you know what, cases get solved this way.
Yeah.
So maybe you should shut up and who is he? Who is he to tell anybody? Because there are some very smart people that I know that have put a lot of time and effort into the Delphi murders. Not saying that they're going to solve them, but at the same time, it's like, what if one does? I do not want to hinder that. I don't want to put chains on anybody. If you're trying to solve a case and you're spending time on it, look, is it wrong to throw people names into a hat and to possibly ruin their lives? Yes, that's wrong, and there's lawsuits because of that. And so if you're going to do that, be careful about the lawsuits.
Yeah.
But that's on you. That's the risk that you're going to take. But tell Paul to shut the fuck up.
I think there's difference between web sleuthing and finding someone. I don't want finding someone and like trying to fit them within a certain suspect profile, and then going and saying doing these, just taking someone's picture off of Facebook and doing like side by side comparisons and saying, okay, look, they look very similar. And
who is Paul?
Well, no, this is
who is he really? I mean, can you tell me who he is?
Yeah, he was one of the investigators in the Golden State Killer case. He was from Costa Contra. What is it? Contra Costa. Thank you, Contra Costa County.
He worked for a department.
Yeah, for the sheriffs.
Yeah.
So he was one of
be quiet. No, the thing is, you should encourage the public to get involved. I understand what he's saying. I agree on the point on some level, but at the same time, these law enforcement agencies need all the help they can get, and we've been seeing. I mean, look, you were the one that told me about the guy that put in D'Angelo's name out there on a chat room a year in advance, or however long in advance it was. Maybe if they were looking into these things a little bit more, they would have solved that even before.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
I mean, but at the same, I'll say at the same time, how involved. I don't want to say involved. How much I kind of dove into that case specifically, the Golden State Killer case, and it's so easy to find people that are good suspects, right? So right before D'Angelo was arrested, I mean, I had a great suspect, and if you looked at him, you'd be like, God, this guy had to be him, because he happened to not only kind of fit.
But I think the thing, if people are trying to be more experts in this field, let's start with some frame of reference, or in the idea that a lot of detectives have told me this. Things look good, things look like they should fit but that's because you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle. And once you have those pieces of the puzzle, and once you get a couple more things on D'Angelo, your guy doesn't look so good anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I completely agree with that.
Yeah, so I mean but that should be the warning, is look, certain things will make sense when you don't have all the pieces of the puzzle. And there's a lot of things, like, it's just like you take a case that makes absolutely no sense. JonBenet Ramsey.
Yeah.
Amy Mihaljevic. Brian Schaefer. Tyler Davis. All these cases make zero sense. But if we had one or two pieces of the story, you'd go, oh, that's what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I say, oh, Brian Schaefer made it out of the building and was hit on the head and killed and thrown into the dumpster, you go, oh, that makes sense. Everything makes sense. On some level, it's just we don't have all the pieces of the puzzle. And I mean,
Amy was lured in by a pedophile teacher and taken away and killed. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you do have to be careful on some level, like we were saying about, like, everybody loves this Dean Runkle, right?
Yeah.
Everybody loves him. Here's this guy that taught in the area. It probably messed up his life pretty bad. Now, he seems like a very good suspect, but some of these seem like really good suspects because of an author one being James Renner, coming up with these theories and saying, well, this is how I think they got the numbers, right?
And what is the key to that what you just said? This is what I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has no proof. That's what happened.
Oh, and look, and I think part of it is that you have to come up with a story because you're telling a story. I mean, obviously, if you're writing a book,
Yeah.
my issue with it is we don't know that these numbers are connected. And like Nick said in the show, that they believe, the FBI believes, that at least more than one phone call is connected, but probably looking more like 2 calls are maybe connected, or possibly 3. But 2 of those calls, if it's just 2 calls, Amy's call and another call, it's those calls, both individuals, Amy and the other girl that was called, both rode horses. So tell me what the connection is. The barn in which they rode horses at, right?
Yeah.
And so then the nature center, throw that out the window.
Mm-hmm.
If that's true, and it's these 2 girls are the only 2 that they think are linked, again, it's only through horse riding. Then it becomes what parents of the horse riders, what person that works there,
Yeah.
anybody that visited there, family members of them there. I did find out the guy, and I always thought the guy that worked at the stalls, which he was the son of the people that own the horse ranch. He worked there because he was suffering from a lot of PTSD because of the war, Vietnam, and basically had nowhere else to go. So he became a ranch hand, basically. And they said he was a little odd. Well, yeah, he's a little odd because he has PTSD from going and fighting for the country. He then was asked to take a lie detector because he wanted to get cleared, and his parents wanted him cleared because they needed him to work around the ranch so he could have a place to stay.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, people were thinking that he's involved in Amy's disappearance. So he said, well, I want to be cleared. Is there anything I could do to be cleared? They say, take a polygraph test. He said, well, I actually believe I can pass the polygraph test because of my service.
Yeah.
So they ended up administering a truth serum to him and then taking the polygraph test, and he passed it. So, but this nature center might mean nothing. Or just like your idea of this homework helper thing, it's a great idea, but if we can't prove that these calls are connected in any
Mm-hmm.
way, then that doesn't matter. And then people go, well, it must have been a teacher. Well, that doesn't matter if those calls aren't connected. And I believe a lot of those calls are not connected, because once you start saying, especially during that time period, like Nick said, in the 70s and 80s, you get a lot of prank calls. We used to prank people all the time, and would save the numbers of the girls and the guys that would answer the phone and kind of play along with the prank. So would call them multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
How many of these girls say, well, I got a weird call, but it had nothing to do with Amy's case?
Yeah.
I think she was very, very much targeted.
And I think my big problem with this case specifically is a lot of the information is coming from 10, 11, 12-year olds, whatever they were at the time. And when you have someone that young, especially in that day and age, they hear, oh, this guy called Amy, and so then everyone is going back and thinking about every single phone call they've received, and like, okay, I got this weird phone call, so it must have been him, right? And then we're lying, specifically on, testimony of Amy's friends in regards to what the phone call was about, right? So we're under the assumption that this guy had all this information about Amy's mom and where she worked and what she did, but here's the thing: how do we know that the friend really knew what was talked about on the phone call? B, how do we know that if Amy did tell her, that Amy actually told her the truth? So I think that's throwing off a lot of stuff on this case, because we're making assumptions based on this, this information we're getting from young girls and boys.
Well, people are making assumptions. I think that's the thing that I've been learning more and more that I talk to these guys that actually have done the work and have solved cases is just, take a step back and go, hey, look, we don't know. There's no proof that these are connected. This is just purely speculation. And that's okay to tell that as a part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you have to be careful with that. But again, I'm not going to be Paul Holes and sit there and tell people what to do.
Yeah.
All I can do is take care of myself. And my idea with these cases is to take a step back from some of this, going down the rabbit hole and go, what can we prove?
Yeah.
What can we prove? And I've said that a lot. It was like the time that I started screaming on this show. It's the truth. That's what you got to be concerned with. If the evidence tells us that Mara Murray, I'm going to jump all the way to Mara Murray here. But if the evidence tells us, or what we think the evidence is telling us, is that she got picked up in a car, a little bit down the road from where she wrecked, we have to think that that's a possibility.
Yeah.
And if our evidence says so, that doesn't mean that we have to say that is 100%. If we don't think the evidence is 100%, but that has to be higher on the list of priorities than some other thought process or some other theory.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to start getting into true crime like earlier in the show so we don't bore these people, because I do have a hard out in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Gangster Garden, ask a question. Non-crime related stuff. My ex brother-in-law lives in New Orleans, and he works at I think Cat's Deli. That's what it is. It's like it was a famous New York deli, but there's also one in New Orleans, and he actually works for this cool artist down there. But just on the side, he works at this deli. So I'm hoping to like just swing by the deli, and hopefully Brandon will be there. He's a really cool guy. He's been in a lot of movies. He was in Green Lantern and a bunch of other like Avengers and stuff, because they do a lot of movie work down in New Orleans, and he's part of some extras, like, but it's not just like regular extras. They're like extras that will say lines, small lines, 1 or 2 lines. He's been in a bunch of independent films where he just like walks into the room, or he's the waiter. But he's also physically fit, so he was paid like in Green Lantern. All he does is basically run. Like he's just one of the people going, run for your lives, But in every scene where they're supposed to be running and looking scared or looking concerned, all the scenes he's in, he's running but laughing his face off, because he can't. The guy, so that would be something other than CrimeCon, but it's really just going to be True Crime Dork Fest. happy that I'm happy that Morgan's going, and I'm probably going to lose my shit on a couple people. Because once you start losing your mind, you just don't care. And again, Paul Holes is Holes, right?
Holes
with the S. He's probably a really nice guy and probably a really smart guy, and I get his point. So I don't want to seem like I'm bashing him, but at the same time, it's like these are, But I always found that stuff to be stupid, anyways.
Jenny, was it Billy Jensen that was saying that, or was it Paul Holes? I think that's what you're talking about. Hold on. We'll just say it's Paul.
Oh, you said it was Paul.
Billy says it. Oh, Billy says it in all the episodes, basically. So, well, no. Okay, they both. Let's just say they both have that same opinion.
I know, and like I said, I get where they're coming from. But one, shut up, and two, I've always thought it was ridiculous. When what was the guy that you just Daniel Nations when people said they got a guy and they're bringing him back, there was no report on that. There was nobody in Delphi going, we got our guy. And everybody's so quick to jump to conclusions because again, they don't want to know the truth. Give me the truth, god damn it. That's so
You know what? I'm still going to say that our guy from a few weeks ago, that's him, right? I can't even think of his name right now.
The Delphi?
Yeah. We went through all the damn pictures. I can't even think of his name. Garrett, yeah, right. Garrett Kritz.
Yeah, you need to pay attention in class, motherfucker.
Oh, man, I was terrible at paying attention. I would always fall asleep.
Well, I enjoy everybody joining us and be excited. And should we put these on a schedule? Should we put the shows on a schedule, or should we just have them be random?
I think we
like
should
we've
probably
been having them.
I think we should probably do a schedule. We'll talk about it in New Orleans.
Well, people could like make comments on that. Would you rather have it be on a schedule, or would you just have it be random? Well, I want to thank Gary, Jenny, Lady, Steve Fire, Cookie Bear, Zoe, and Jay, Paige, and Mr. Herman. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Gangster Garden. Gangster Gardener. Some of these names are just really long. What were...
Yeah. Maybe we will have a random surprise here in the next few days. Maybe.
I'm working on that. Getting closer. All right, thanks for joining us. I gotta
thanks everybody.
Some more work done. I'm gonna start doing my laundry so I can be ready.
Oh, good idea. I need to do that. I need to get packing.
Get packing.
And we'll
Toodaloo.
We'll talk later on tonight here. Just me and you. Alone. Mano a mano.
All right.
In our sexy voices.
Hey, are you packing your clothes?
Just packing. Yeah. Packing my boxes. You know it, boy.
Or is your laundry still dirty?
So dirty.
All right. I'm out of here.
See you, Kevin.
Bye.